it's just a momentary lapse of insanity.
So that's like a tick for him.
A tick. I mean, I don't know what a tick is. He's fucking crazy.
It's
he
like
just
people with Tourette's. So sometimes they freak out and they start cussing and spitting at people. Like all of a sudden,
he might have a spike. He might also be in that manic mode for 30 minutes where he's talking about. I mean, I've seen him tell drug dealers he's gonna fucking chop off the heads of all their like associates, and he's gonna anthrax their entire village. And I mean, I had that one of the scene in the book where the guy's like, "Village, Frank, I'm from Palm Beach," and he goes, "Well, Palm Beach then." and I mean, you're like,
he's gonna anthrax Palm Beach.
I mean, he just and what's so funny is
that's a clip.
The stuff that happens in prison. What happened on the street is more insane because I mean he's literally trying to buy airplanes. He is actively trying to take over other countries. He steals nearly $200 million from the federal government. And this isn't me saying this. This is I've got the reports. There's news. You can look up Frank Amadeo, Frank Amadeo fraud, and it comes right up.
200 million.
Nearly 200 million. They always say nearly because they start adding shit in. Really, it was about $182 million. I mean, as if that really matters. I'm just saying. Once they start adding in all the fees and everything else,
right,
they always say they always say nearly 200 million. Regardless, it was $182 million is what his restitution is.
I'd vote for him. Can he run for president? Even though he was in.
Sure,
you could write him in.
He could run for president even though he was in prison.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Emperor.
I'd vote for him.
Emperor.
Listen,
do you think he'd let me and Luke be his campaign managers?
I would love to do his advertising.
Listen, I don't. A guy that thinks he's going to be emperor of the world. I'm not sure how much he's going to scrutinize anybody that supports him. But
if you're emperor, though, you need like somebody who's in charge of propaganda. I would love to take that on.
Hell yeah.
I would. Me too.
Wouldn't that be fun?
We could do that.
That'd be awesome.
We could come up with the strongest campaign slogan for him, and
I'm telling you, Emperor Amadeo for Emperor 2024.
Yeah.
Forever.
This is good stuff. I think I showed you. Didn't I show you some of these? These are fucking awesome.
What are you looking at? Pictures of him right now?
No.
Look. So what's?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Look at that.
What are you looking at right now? Describe it for me, Luke.
This looks like the best YouTube thumbnail I've ever seen. He's cut out in Photoshop with a 5-pixel white stroke around him. He's crossing his arms like he's filming an HLN reality show. He's in the desert. There's missiles firing in the background. Amadeo for Emperor. Quote, "I will anthrax your entire village."
Nice.
And then also signed off, quoted Frank Amadeo.
I fucking love that.
I got the
strong.
fist. I got the fist
bulletproof.
with it where it says Amadeo for Emperor. It's got the fists.
That'd make a strong yard sign too.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
That should be the thumbnail for the podcast. Honestly.
So what the fuck's his deal? He started out in his 20s going to law school, right? He wanted to become a lawyer.
Yeah, dude, you got it.
Good stuff.
And when did he fly off the rails? I mean, he's in law school. He couldn't go to the CIA because his dad got cancer. He had to take care of his dad.
Right.
At what point does this all start to go sideways?
Well, he ends up working for Hyatt Legal Services, which is like a bankruptcy firm. It's what it is. It's kind of like it's like the people that do your taxes, right? Like what is it? Centric? Who does your taxes? What's
Like
one?
H&R Block.
Like H&R Block, but it's for bankruptcy. It was a company that started off. They were trying to do it. They had them all over the place. He goes in. He starts running the company, and he's doing great. And he ends up marrying this woman by the name of Claire, and so they get married. And he said that basically he's like, I tried to suppress my knowledge, and this is the thing. He always talked about it. Like Claire's always known about it, and even in high school, he said that everybody knew about it, and it was kind of like they just like laughed it off. It was kind of a quirky little thing where he was, well, when I'm emperor, and they'd be like, emperor, and he was, whoa, I'm going to be emperor of the world, and they'd be like, oh, okay, Frank, and they kind of laugh it off. Of course, you're a teenager, it's funny, but you're also brilliant. They're going to let it go, but it doesn't. It never subsides. It's a continuing thing, and people kind of accept it as being, if you're kind of quirky and there's something weird about you, a little odd about you, but it's also kind of funny. You're going to let it go because I like you, right? So you're going to let it go. Well, it progresses. He ends up meets Claire. They get married. He tries to be a normal citizen. He eventually drops into a depression, goes into the hospital, comes out, and this is back in the 80s and 90s, and nobody's really thinking depression. Like they're not really, what's wrong with him? He won't get out of bed. He's sick. He's tired. He's lethargic.
Yeah.
What?
Streams crashed.
All right. That's all right. We can keep rolling. Just keep rolling.
So yeah, so he
As long
but
as it's still recording.
Yeah, we are.
All right.
what ends up happening. Okay, I'm trying to think of where the this one is. Okay, so what ends up happening is he ends up getting in trouble because, according to Amadeo, I'm not sure that the
So wait, where did all these notions of being emperor of the world come from? Like that didn't just come out of thin air. Where do you think he got that from?
no, I
Do you think he was reading some science fiction books when he was a kid and like
well, I mean, he was a big fan of Star Trek, but I don't know.
he
that
was?
yeah, but I mean, so was I. I don't think I'm taking over the world. I think he's bipolar with features of schizophrenia. I think it's a
Yeah,
it's
but
a
he
mental-
had to have gotten that whole emperor story from somewhere.
Not necessarily. A lot of bipolars or people with schizophrenia. He's not schizophrenic. If he was schizophrenic, he wouldn't even be functional. You know,
Right.
he just has aspects of it. So I don't know where that came from. I don't know if it's just a prolonged florid delusion that has continued his whole life, which is essentially what the psychiatrists are saying.
Yeah.
Because I actually have his the evaluation of capacity from the government right here, where it's got all the these are all the doctors and psychiatrists that actually look here. Here's the Emperor of the World right here, Frank Amadeo. This is from
Wow.
this is the federal government ordered that report, and he had to be interviewed by several psychiatrists, and there's quotes in there taken from Frank and taken from the psychiatrists, if that makes sense. Talking about how since he was a child, he's believed this, it's been a constant. So eventually what ends up happening is he ends up getting in trouble and he goes to jail. He actually, listen, he's supposed to get 24 months probation. What?
People are saying PayPal's are sent.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
PayPal's are sent?
People are paying.
I mean, if people are paying, you got to put your address.
What did they pay
and
for?
you-
Who paid for
and
what?
You got to be able to get
Did you
in
get a
touch with you.
notification?
I mean, I got something. I just saw something light up.
Check your phone. You
I got $1.99.
Oh, hell yeah.
$1.99. Who sent you
Nice.
that?
This is a guy I know. He's
Wow.
anyway. He said for coffee.
All right.
So what happens is I don't even know where I was.
Neither do I. Oh, the psychiatrist.
good to
The
know. Oh, yeah.
psychiatrist report. He was
Wait,
one of the psychiatrists.
Yeah, that was a psychiatrist report. But he gets in trouble. He eventually gets in trouble. And listen, he's supposed to get 24. When this whole
What did he get in
thing-
trouble for?
The whole company, basically, he went and started his own bankruptcy company.
Okay.
So he takes on a ton of. He's got a few partners. Takes on some partners. Takes on a ton of clients. And he ends up going into depression. They hospitalize him. By the time he gets out of the hospital and goes back to work, it's been weeks, maybe a month, or I think it's been over a month or so. And basically, his partners couldn't handle the volume, and there are all these complaints. And he ends up getting disbarred because he doesn't even show up for the trial. And what happens is money that had been collected by them had been, he says that he wasn't in charge of the account and they had used the money for bills or whatever. Basically, it was commingling of funds, and several people lost money, and he ended up getting disbarred. Now, I don't know what the police report says. Police report basically says that there was money placed into an account and that he essentially used the money to pay bills, and that he was part of the whole thing and understood it. And then when he got sick, it caught up with him, whatever. My point is, Nancy Grace. You don't know who Nancy Grace is?
No.
Yes.
Fuck Nancy Grace.
Nancy
hate
Grace.
Nancy.
Nancy
Fuck
Grace.
Nancy
fuck is
Grace.
it?
Oh man.
Nancy Grace was the prosecutor. She couldn't prosecute him, so she ended up giving it to the U.S. attorney. Nancy Grace she's got her own CNN show where she's like a 50-year-old white chick with blonde hair.
She's like Alex Jones, but a lady.
really angry.
Really?
Oh, vicious. So she can't prosecute him, but she hands it over to the U.S.
She
attorney.
Democrat or Republican?
I have no idea. Oh, I'm sure she's got to be what?
She's mad.
She's just angry. She's an angry
Yeah.
woman.
I don't know
gotta
what
be a
she is. She's just
Republican.
mad.
She's on CNN.
So she ends up handing it to the U.S. attorney. U.S. attorney
She can't be
indicts him.
Republican.
He's supposed to get 24 months. When they go to interview several people,
Yeah.
they interview his wife, and his wife says he's got to go to jail. She goes, you can't give him 24 months probation. She goes, he'll never learn his lesson. He's got to go to jail.
Wow.
So they say, well, you're going to jail. So they send him to what's called shock boot camp. They used to have this boot camp, and you go there for like 9 months or something. They let you out. So he goes there for 9 months, and when he gets out, this is in the middle of the basically the Soviet Union has fallen apart. This is probably around around 2000 something, and he ends up starting a company called Mirabilis that is based on a thesis that he had written, which is called Capital Genesis. Mm-hmm. Capital Genesis is his plan for world domination, and if you actually listen to him explain the whole thing, it's essentially Spectre from like James Bond. It's a whole slew of these companies. It's great because what the CIA agent in the book breaks it all down. It's all, and so does Amadeo. He's like, it's Spectre. It's all of these companies that feed off of one another. So we all own these companies, and we all give each other favorable contracts so that we can grow bigger and bigger, and we have a shared agenda, and we're going to buy up all these other companies and just continue to grow and grow and grow. And we all have a shared goal. And he said the same concept is being used right now in the
kind of like his own little government.
Right. And ultimately he'll be able to spread throughout the entire.
What's so funny?
Kyle Roberts said Nancy Grace titty popped out on Dancing with the Stars, and that thing looked like a burnt salami.
Fuck. We need to get Kyle Roberts live in here.
Yeah. Anyway, he ends up getting out. He starts this company. He starts buying up.
So he owns all these companies that are all serving each other.
He goes in. He buys these companies that are failing. So he goes in and he buys the company. He either bankrupts it, or he might put it into bankruptcy and restructure the company, or maybe he bankrupts it completely, pays off the debtors, or or maybe he restructures it and turns it around. But he's able to use the bankruptcy laws to his advantage. Mm-hmm. So as the companies grow and grow, and this is what's interesting. There are transcripts where, look, he's always said, like, people that came to work for him, they always know. Like, if you're a CPA, he lets them know, I have a condition, I'm bipolar. Like, everybody knows. All the lawyers that work for him know, the CPAs know, everybody knows. They even bring in a psychiatrist to basically monitor his behavior. And he's buying these companies, he's bankrupting them, he's growing and growing. He ends up buying a bunch of military-style companies. Like, he buys a military company that does, they build portable satellites for the military. Mm-hmm. He ends up starting several small, like, Blackwater-style companies. And I end up, in the book, I explain that there's like 3 of them, and basically it's called Tactical. So I name them all Tactical. They all have different names, like Tactical Strategy, such and such, Tactical. So they're all basically Tactical. Tactical ends up getting a bunch of contracts in Afghanistan, where they protect convoys of food, they protect diplomats, that sort of thing.
His company is?
His company.
Wow.
So,
and he's getting paid by the government?
Yeah. Oh, listen, they also do what black bag operations are. The CIA guy goes all
What's a black bag operation?
Basically, look, so you're a Russian hacker. Okay, you're like a Russian hacker. We have you indicted, but we can't go into Russia and get you. But then you end up going into let's say you end up going into you go to Brazil or something, or you go to Norway on vacation.
Right.
So we can't go in there and kidnap somebody else. But what happens is the State Department says, or the FBI or CIA, whoever, they say, look, this guy is going to be in Norway. He's a Russian citizen. He's a hacker. We have him indicted. If he shows up on U.S. soil, there's a $200,000 check waiting for you. So what do they go in, they watch him for a week, and then they hit him with a fucking taser, put a bag over his head, throw him in the back of the van,